tonight, coming at you from Vasona Lake, which is a park nearby where I work. I'm coming back from the CP Enneagram Retreat C. It's also known as the Alchemical Enneagram. I wanted to share a little bit about some of the things that stood out to me personally at the retreat. As someone who's recently taken on the practice of yoga, whenever I kind of sit cross-legged on the floor, kind of visualize a pendulum that's like inside of my heart. And there's something about sitting upright and very still, quieting myself, my thoughts, my heart. It feels like the pendulum is very still, centered. And it's wondering why that imagery stood out to me. And I am now realizing that it's because, as a 4, having a very internal turbulence and lots of moving thoughts and feelings, and basically being everywhere else except where I am. That's the passion of envy. My pendulum on the inside is always like this, constantly moving and shifting, never quite still, always seeking what's on the other side. And as we all do, we often we put outside what we feel on the inside. And I realized that the vast majority of my life I've been living as if I'm this swinging pendulum, always on the extremes, never settled, never steady. So at this retreat, this visual came up to me again, and being at a very beautiful retreat center, surrounded by trees and quiet, I decided to be very intentional and deliberate about moving, like literally moving my body very slowly. So when going on strolls around, I've imagined myself moving through molasses in a very steady and slow way, as if time is slowing down. There's something that happened inside of me where I felt that pendulum being very still, and I'm moving so slowly so that the pendulum stays centered and grounded, and that felt so freaking good. To be very steady and still and quiet, not constantly on this chase. And previous retreats, I'm like, okay, I know what I want to work on. I know what I want to get out of it. These are the things that I'm going to like jump right into. Like, let's go. Like, let's make it happen. And this time around, it was more of like, I don't have any particular thing that's stirring up inside of me. There isn't any particular thing I want to work on. And that's not to say that I don't have things to work on, but in that moment, it felt as if, like, I deeply feel okay and content where I am, as I am. And I gotta say, that is not the typical experience that are attributed to 4s. And so that's kind of how I knew that this was from outside of myself. Like, it's not anything that I was particularly trying to conjure up, but maybe built on the foundation of all the work that I've done in prior years. It's like, yeah, maybe I am ready to be very present and centered The type 4 experience is, I kind of describe it like, it's like someone who is floating out into the middle of the ocean, and they have no idea which direction is which, and sometimes they go underwater, sometimes they're above water, but it's a lot of like feeling lost or disoriented, unanchored. Another imagery coming up is like someone who's floating out in space, and there's no up or down, left or right, and their kind of tether or umbilical cord is severed. And I think that's kind of what describes a lot of the 4 experiences, and feeling very aimless, lost, constantly confused and disoriented, not really feeling tethered or connected to anything, and so constantly the sense of like needing to reconnect or to find that supposed connection that was lost or whatever. And I feel like I'm in a very different place right now, or maybe a more accurate way of saying it is, I feel like I have access to a different place. I don't know yet if this is here to stay, like if this is going to be the new baseline. But honestly, I never really thought that I could ever be here before. I always thought that I would be constantly needing to be on the chase for something outside. And so I'm sharing this with you because, well, partially as a way for y'all to get to know me. A lot of people get the impression that I have all my shit together because of the work that I do, or the things that people see like on my website or my blogs or Instagram or whatnot. A lot of that has been out of a sense of this self-press for like, let's go, like let's get things done, let's make things happen. And I've realized over the years that I've accidentally created this image for other people, especially like those who are in the same industries, that I do things very effortlessly, that things come very easily and very naturally to me. Half the time when I do coaching calls with other 4s, are like, I don't know how you do what you do. Like, it seems so like polished and put together, and internally I'm kind of thinking like, well, if only you knew like just how much work I put into it. Yeah. I don't know what will come up in what I create as I choose into this state of being steady and connected. I think, or I'm hoping, that a lot of the frenetic energy and this I don't know if it's performance anxiety, but this sense of like, I better hurry up and do this or else, like that state, I hope it will settle down a lot more. What that means as to what all of y'all would be hearing from me, there's a possibility that I might change the pace or the direction, or I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of particular strategies or anything of what I want to write for y'all, but something in me tells me that maybe this is the direction to go, in allowing myself to show up like this more often, and being a fellow traveler with you in your own journey, in your own growth process. I hope to share a lot more with you regarding different aspects of the Enneagram, and I don't want to share these things with you as someone who is like above or anything, or set apart as if I've like mastered anything. It's more, here are some things that I've come across along the way in the ways that I've connected with this deeper truth. And I hope that some things really resonate with you and call you towards whatever is your next step. I'd love to hear more about anything that you're wanting and needing, so that I may accompany you along the way. So thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.